I'm going to give the iPad Generation 8 its own You Should Buy series. So, why is that? Let's find out. What's up, everyone? I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. Specifically today, you could get the entry-level version for right around $300. That gives you the 10.2-inch Retina display, 32 gigabytes of storage, the A12 Bionic processor, and the current version of iPad OS. And that's, look folks, that's actually quite a lot of stuff for that $300. I wish all of the technology that I purchased, I wish all of it gave me that much value for such a small entry price. But as this is a you should buy video, I'm going to be incredibly positive on this iPad. There's no two sides of this story. We're in one story town, and that story is, this thing is awesome, I've already purchased it, and I love using it, and here's why I think you should do the same. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't fit into a book title. I'll have to hire an editor for snappier cover language whenever we do release this book. First off, we already mentioned it, but the price for the iPad Gen 8 is amazing. You cannot find another tablet/hybrid laptop thing out there that does the same thing at this same price. Yes, Chromebooks exist, and yes, there are other tablet manufacturers out there that might have other options that may even have a few specification benefits over this, specifically in screen design. But even though I'm not a gambling person, I'd put real money down that they will have very short software update life cycles, and they'll not have a larger ecosystem to plug into, more on this later. They'll also probably have a weird specific version of a mobile operating system that will cause huge headaches for trying to get your pieces of software to work. They will have to save costs to bring the price down somewhere, so generally, they will have less quality build materials. I know the current buzzword around Apple is planned obsolescence, and look, I don't work for Apple. I'm not inside the Apple design team to know exactly how they not only plan for development, but the sustainment for their individual product line, so I guess anything's possible, but it's really hard to argue about Apple obsolescence when devices from years ago still receive full software upgrades year over year. There isn't another developer out there that does the same, and for my example, I will continue to point out the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. These devices were released almost 6 years ago in September of 2014, and they still get all of the iOS 14 updates. Compare that, so that's not just in isolation, compare that to the Samsung Galaxy Note 5, which released at the same time. That thing got one major software update with Android Marshmallow, and then slowly got the next update, Nougat, in 2017. What else did it get? Nothing. It didn't get any. That was it. Extrapolate that over the product lines, because you probably don't want to sit here and have me talk about software releases all day. But that is the very first reason to buy the iPad. And with the processor inside of this Generation 8, this tablet will be relevant for years to come. Speaking of software, the next reason to buy this iPad is the software experience. Like I said, it gets all of the major updates like the rest of the line. And what I really like here is that there isn't a limitation placed on the quote-unquote low end of the iPad lineup. You could easily, and do easily, see this in other brands or other types of products. They will release all of the cool whiz-bang software things that get saved for the expensive versions. You see this a lot in cameras. While the lower end gets just enough to justify the cost year over year. Where here, you get it all. If iPad OS does it and the hardware can physically accomplish it, boom! You get everything. You get everything about iPad on the cheapest iPad, which leads into that ecosystem that you could plug the iPad into. Apple has the best ecosystem. I know there are some out there that might take issues with that statement or say there are better options out there. And you know what? Maybe there are better options for those that have the technical expertise to set up their own ecosystem. But I'm not about that life, and the majority of people are not about that life. All we want is to buy something, and then however the magic glass screen works with whatever my other smaller magic glass screen, that's where I want that magic to happen. Yes, I said magic 3 times in the last sentence because that's how the ecosystem works to me. Magic. I've already made a video talking about the best budget ecosystem that you can buy, and even at those lower end price points, you get all of those cool things that people love. iMessage works on the iPad. AirDrop between an iPad and an iPhone or a MacBook Yep, you got it all out there, and a whole free version set of productivity tools if you need to work on the fly. You get that here too. The thing about the Apple ecosystem, here's the thing. Each individual Apple device, iPhone, MacBook, iPad, all of those, they all work great individually. You buy one and that's all you really need if you don't need a whole family suite of devices. Each of these stands up on its own. When you have each product that seamlessly talks to each other, can switch conversations between them depending on where you are, and you can easily start a project on one, move it to another, and then finish it on a third without needing to plug in anything or reconnect anything or even add an additional friction point by clicking on Bluetooth or you don't have to do any of that. That's the magic. If you're not in this, it sounds like a bunch of snake oil or smoke and mirrors from somebody that is obviously a fan of the line. And yes, I am a fan of it. But for all of the skeptics out there, if you made it this far into an Apple product video, you've got to give it a shot. You don't even need to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a high-end computer or high-end phone to get those benefits either. The SE line, which I include the iPad Gen 8 into, is probably the best bang for your buck technology ecosystem ever made. It's just so good. I could gush about this all day long. The next reason to buy the iPad is really born out of my latest work trip. It was me and another project manager trying to organize events over several of our own product lines and ensuring that our leadership was informed and in the proper meetings that we all of us had to be at the same time. It sounds hectic? Well, yes, it kind of was. But the glue that held it all together, and this is not kidding. This is not exaggeration for the point of making a video. The glue that held it all together was the iPad. How this little device managed to do all of that was a large part thanks to the ecosystem, but it was more the convenience. Do you need the best camera for Zoom or Teams or WebEx meetings? No. Nobody gives a crap about the kind of video quality when real decisions are being made. Do you need the crispiest or brightest displays? No. That will lower the battery life or make the whole device bigger because it needs a bigger battery to power that processor and display. Do you need 1 terabyte of storage if all we're doing is looking at the PowerPoint deck through the web conferencing application? No, you don't. No, you don't. What you need is something small, lightweight, can go anywhere, has decent internet connection, self-service model sold itself to me this week, by the way, and just works. It also helps that because of how well the App Store works and developers only needing to develop to one standard on that iOS App Store, you'll find the most stable, most reliable, and best quality apps out there for any of the professional suites. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to that working professional, this is hands down the best option for on-the-go meetings or managing multiple meetings at once. Because sometimes you're going to need your computer, you're going to need to be in 2 places at once, and this gives you the ability to be in 2 places at once. You're just going to have to mute one. Look, I've always liked this iPad. Don't get me wrong. I've covered the 7th gen, I've covered the 8th gen. We've been talking about this for over a year now, and I personally use one as my teleprompter. Like right now, I'm using one right now, and I use it for smaller backup things around the studio. I was absolutely blown away by how valuable this was in the professional setting as a dedicated meeting and collaboration tool. It fits anywhere, has a battery life that can last for even the longest overblown meetings that could have been email situation. It costs very little, and while I don't love the lightning connection, I do like that having lightning in this circumstance means that you'll always have a way to charge this because everybody has an iPhone and they all have a charger for it. Or you'll be able to find a compatible external battery without too much difficulty. Plus, talking about all of those accessories, this iPad wins again because unlike other tablets, well, except other iPads, it also has a smart connector on the bottom. Check this out. That's a smart connector, so you'll be able to pair this with accessories that can elevate this from tablet into small laptop territory. As we can see right here, the Smart Folio keyboard, while this is not necessarily my favorite of all the iPad keyboard options, this is still better than anything else I've used, and it can fill that dual role as a stand and keyboard all in one. But there is also a huge market of accessories that can turn the iPad into basically whatever you want. Whatever you want. It's like an office worker's Lego set in how you can add a mouse, keyboard, stand. You can use the Apple Pencil version 1. You can add external monitor support if you have a multi-office presentation and there are a few people around a table that need to watch. You can build this up into almost a laptop replacement or just use it by itself. Accessory support for the iPad. It's so good. It almost baffles the mind. But wait. There's more. Let's say you do want to use this as a creation device. There is a 128GB version that will give you somewhat decent amount of workable storage. Combine that with the A12 processor inside of here. That A12 is very powerful for a mobile chip. You can actually get a lot of video / photo / content creation done with this not very expensive tablet. I've shown in previous videos that this can be faster at video editing than some last generation actual computers. And honestly, you'd not be hurting too much if all you had to work off of was this little computer. This is like the Swiss Army knife of productivity or creation. But at the end of the day, so what, right? To follow up that bold statement we left off in the video, and well, we titled the video after, you should absolutely buy an iPad Generation 8. This thing, it fits anywhere, it can do almost anything, it has power for days, can sync across all manner of other devices. This is just such a good companion tool that I have zero issues recommending it. Let's say something new comes out in the next month or so, that will only make this a better deal because prices will drop and some consumers will want that new shiny thing, and this will always be waiting for you. For the working professional, this is the tool you'll need, and I will be bringing mine with me everywhere from now on because it's a device that fits so many roles but is also reasonably priced enough that you won't feel too scared throwing it around to get the job done. iPad Pro, iPad Air, they are great and reasonably priced, but they're expensive enough that I wouldn't necessarily just want to toss it around or give it to somebody. Hey, you got to do this meeting real quick. Here, take this, just go run your meeting. This I don't mind as much. A $1,200 iPad Pro, yeah, I would probably mind as much. And if you watch this video and you've decided that I'm not crazy, well, not that crazy, and maybe that I know a thing or two, and now you've decided that you want to get one of your very own, here's my video about all of the accessories that I recommend that you should get for this tablet, and the ones that will help you take this tiny device to the next level. And you can find that by clicking right here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.